Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of Channeling Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. I'm so excited you are here. We are talking about something that I feel like is a big thing in the collective and for everybody, and stuff that people are working towards. And of course, what is it? It's love. And we're coming up to the month of February, which is the month of love. So I'm really called to talk about this in a couple of different ways, because the most absolute important, most giving thing that you can do for the collective consciousness is to work on you. I have the from the movie Janani. He is showing up saying the greatest service that you can do for humanity is to work on the love of self, is to evolve and expand your own consciousness, to fill yourself with divine love. So for those of you who are kind of like done with Valentine's Day and the month of love of February, I just want to share this channel or this information with you for a couple of reasons. How many people on here are doing for other people, giving to other people, serving other people, but neglecting to do it for the self? So I have this Sri Ravan. I can't pronounce it. I apologize, you guys. He's a guru. He is saying most people don on clothing. You put on clothing, and that clothing represents an energy or an essence or a view or a perspective. And although it is just a piece of clothing we have donned, much like our skin, that clothing has a resonance. To wear something that has meaning, that is beauty, that makes you feel comfortable in your own skin, that is a recognition of the love of self because you are the divine. The greatest gift you can give to humanity is to love yourself. This is because the energy streams out from inside you and moves all the way out into the collective consciousness and everything you touch. The greatest service will be the service and the work that you do on yourself, because you ultimately end up being. It is through being that exudes outside of you, your being in the frequency of self-love and giving to the self and donning things that make you feel in that state of that abundant love of self actually ripples out to everyone around you naturally and inherently. That he's talking about the universal laws. He says these can be acclimated to any universal law, despite the fact that each universal law is separate and represents a different part of the engine. Going back to the car example, it is also much like the body. He says, think about the body. The heart in you does not tell the veins to go back and be the heart just like it. The heart recognizes it needs the vein to flood through the juices that the heart provides, right? The blood. And let's look at the spine. Does the spine say, oh, I should be some muscle over here? No, the spine says, thank you, muscle. You are absolutely so different than me, and you're actually going to contain me and hold my structures in perfect areas. This is why when one piece of the physical body, if we don't have love of self in some way, shape, or form, or we don't begin cultivating that back into us, our vessel becomes a reflection of that which we do not love, which is the exact opposite of what we're looking for, right? If we're looking for love, the easiest way to magnetize it or attract it is to be that love, which means you're no longer looking for love because you are that love, the self-love. It's focusing on the self, the absolute ultimate state of being. So when we look at different individuals in the collective or in the body, the heart must be in the state of being of the heart, doing what it does. The muscles must be in a state of being a muscle. That muscle must willingly accept all of who it is, its growth, its evolution. It's there's all these different things coming in, what we nourish it with, what permeates it, because don't forget, everything's working together. Just as the muscles, the spine needs the muscles need the heart. There's all these different components. I could give you 10 different examples. It doesn't really matter. I feel like anybody watching this, you get the point. All these different facets are kind of like all of us. When the heart is just being the heart and doing what it is and loving the self, then it's almost like everything else starts to be able to move. And I don't make that a reference for any illnesses, because there's different physical capacities based in the body that's based on different emotions. I'm seeing meridians. They're all different emotions and different experiences affect different places in the physical body. But I want to focus on love. Let's say that I have an experience of anger in the liver, and I have anger that I did not express. Well, if my liver is filled with anger, I am angry that a boundary has been crossed, or if I'm angry that I have not honored my own boundaries. Perhaps I'm angry at an experience. Perhaps I was silenced and was not allowed to voice my anger. Therefore, I tamped it down myself, and my liver then permeated all of that anger that I could not flush out, that could not be released, that could not be, I'm seeing it as a filter, could not be filtered out. All got stuck and stagnant there, creating all these issues in the organ, and the organ stopped working properly. And when one organ stops working properly, everything else in the physical avatar starts to have to compensate for that one issue or that one place when there's an emotional value associated with it. Now, what if I took that liver and I started loving it, and I started just expressing all the anger that I did not? And I don't mean expressing it out and projecting it at others. I mean sitting down and writing it out. I mean sitting down and saying, this happened and it made me really freaking angry. It made me feel unloved. It made me feel less than my experience with this circumstance. What if I let all that out and then filled it all with love? Because when I send love to my liver responds. So both of these things positively or negatively impact us. Most of us are looking for love outside of us, but forgot to love inside of us because we're expecting that somebody outside of us is going to fulfill the love within us, if that makes any sense. And it can permeate your whole body. So the greatest service you will ever do for humanity is literally to love the self. Do things that bring you joy. Do things that make you smile. And anywhere in your physical body, in your experience, in the energy where you feel a lack of love for self, might I remind you, you are a child of the divine. You were born of love. Your DNA makeup is love. And everything else that is not has been layered on you, results of circumstances. It's been the projection of other people who have forgotten their love as well within them. The heart stolen from them. I'm going back to that channel. People's hearts being stolen from them. If you have everybody around you and their heart's been stolen from them, you can bet they love you, but they do not know how to love you. Ding, 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 ding. They love you, but they did not know how to love you, if that makes sense. People can only love from the state that they are coming from. People can only understand you from the state of understanding of their own experience. People can only perceive you from their lens of perception, which is not necessarily who you are. I'm seeing a giant gift again. Every channel I do in the last week all has gifts, giant gifts in it. Because of this, because we're filling our vessels and replacing it, all the places that we weren't loved, we're sweeping out the cobwebs, we're pulling out all the crap, and we're refilling it with love. In all the places of your light and your shadow, there is love there. But if you are not willing to give it to yourself, how can anybody else around you give it to you? I'm also seeing somebody go, stop. Somebody's stopping love from coming in because love hurts. That's the song playing. Somebody giving a big stop sign with their hand to people, not willing to receive love because love hurts. In truth, it is not love that hurts. It is the distorted love that hurts. Side note, true, pure, unconditional love does not hurt. Love is not boastful. It is not, there's a saying coming in. If we go back to this whole concept of love, this love hurts, whoever this message is for, you're pushing back love because love hurts. It is because your experiences of love, it's not that the love hurt. It was the way you were loved that hurt, or the lack of love, or the conditions associated with it that actually is what hurts love. It's not love that hurts. It's the conditions that we place upon it, expectations, limitations, all of that stuff. And the reason why you're stopping people is sometimes you're not letting love in, but that also is a reflection of the self. That means you didn't allow yourself to love yourself, right? Because once you love yourself, there is no need to stop other people who are trying to love you, right? And in addition, I feel like experiences, and perceptions. I'm being told that people who experience a loving relationship and one person is showing up wholly and lovingly, unconditionally, and yet the other places conditions or has distortions, this can tend to make the gentle, tender lovers. This is a gentle, tender lover who has been deeply wounded, who gave everything, who gave all of them, the good, the bad, and the ugly, compassionately, unconditionally held a container. You were actually paired with somebody who is almost the exact opposite, and you will know if this message is yours, because this isn't for everybody. Don't make it fit if it's not yours. You were paired with somebody who all they knew how to do was take all of those things and manipulate them to get more and warp them and confuse. It's almost like a narcissist dynamic, or the energy of it, I guess you could say. Usually people who are empaths and narcissists, which is the perfect dynamic for the empath to shrink in their energetic boundaries and stand in their own ground, and the narcissist pushes until they get to that point. There is very, very toxic dynamics in empaths and narcissists, but each plays a very specific role, I'm being told. It is particularly true those who have been engaged in psychological warfare. Thank you. This has multiple meanings, friends. Those of you who have been involved in psychological warfare, emotional manipulation, it is imperative that you focus on loving the self. It's almost like I'm seeing stuff being pulled out of you, like pulling out an arrow there, pulling out somebody's weird thought patterns or obsessive thought patterns that's been focused on you. It's pulling out something from your childhood that somebody told you about yourself. This is what we're doing right now, friends. We're removing all this stuff and we're rewriting, reprogramming with love, which means loving thoughts, loving energy. It also means loving actions. It means loving plans. It means love in all its essences and forms. Those of you who are healing from any of those dynamics, I feel like this is the final purge for you. I'm hearing is actually acting, being, doing, feeling, thinking, everything all at once in a state of love, self-love. That is the rewriting of that lack of love or the taking away from you. This is very clearly a message for somebody who's an empath dealing with a narcissist. This is quite obvious to me. Again, take what resonates. Do not make a message fit. There's also the capacity of viewing it from this perspective of these people strengthen me enough to ask for more. Usually people who leave that dynamic, they have the ability to step in and ask for more because they could only take so much before it broke them down. When you ask for more, you have to flood yourself with more love. I don't know why it's coming through like this. It feels a little bit disconnected for me. And I almost feel like it's coming from multiple different places and multiple different people who are either looking for love, they're feeling very unloved themselves, alone. It's somebody who feels very alone or feels like you need a romantic dynamic in order to know what love is. But I'm being told to tell you very clearly, I have Ava saying, that is but one form of love. Think about the complexities of the term of love. Think about the limitations, the perceptions, the labels, the conditions that we have all placed on this idea of love. And is it not simply an idea? What were you told the idea of love is? Is it healthy? Does it empower you in the wholeness of the self? Or does it force you to give away a part of you? Does it force you to feel like a piece of you is outside of you somewhere, that you have to do something to get it back? Because the idea of love that is on this earth plane has been so distorted, has so many conditions, has so many limitations, and has created so many wounds. Again, going back to love hurts, somebody pushing you away, saying love hurts. It's different if you're pushing away saying no because that is not aligned. Side note, let's be very clear. It's one thing to push love away because you're a wounded person. And it's another thing to say no to the receiving of somebody's love because you're aware there is a distortion of alignment. There is a significant difference between these two. I'm being told to tell this specifically. There's somebody on here, you have not engaged with other people despite offers you have received, not because you're pushing away love, but because it's very clear to you the energy is not aligned and that's not the person for you. Whoever that is, you keep doing that because your registering of the energetic fields of others and understanding it's not for you is 1000% correct. I'm hearing do not settle. Don't settle for less than just because what you want hasn't come in. And here's why I say that. Don't forget, what you seek is seeking you. However, you both have to be in energetic alignment. So let's say the person that you're seeking or the person that's for you is still working through some garbage or some trauma or some karma. And you're like, oh, I just want my person. And it's not coming in. Sometimes it's not coming in because they're doing their work. They're aligning to meet you where you're at. But if you settle and go over here to this thing over here that's not quite what you want, doesn't make your soul saying, well, guess what? This, when it shows up, you're going to be occupied over here and defeated the whole purpose of you waiting. So whoever this message is for, you'll know it's for you. Obviously, we're spanning a whole bunch of people here. If that message is for you, do not settle. Trust your intuition when someone or something is off or not quite right for you, or does not ignite something in you that is a necessity of your requirements for a healthy relationship. Even if you're in relationships, it's okay to do, actually, it's very healthy to do things that are just for you, as well as have that interdependence of a relationship. So it's not just about being single, it's about empowering and being in self-love and honoring the self and the freedom of that, whether you are in a relationship or whether you are not. It doesn't matter. Everyone is called to have a love of the self. And also, last thing, if you are interested and would like to join me live for the entire month of February to fill our containers with the love of self and divine love, I'll put the link in the video description box below if you want to check that out. I would love for you to join me. And I'm wishing you all much love, light, peace, healing, and transcendence. And of course, I will see you in the next video.